Okay, so we're here today with Tom Ness. Tom, thank you so much for coming on. Well, it's not really the show today, but for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you back too. It's been too long. Why don't you, for people that don't know who you are, give us your quick 1 minute, Tom Ness. Who are you?
Okay, well, I'm Tom Ness, obviously.
Hi, Tom.
I am, I'm kind of like I would say like I'm an average guy. I have a lot of products under my belt, a lot of really successful launches. I do this full time, the internet marketing gig, and I'm 25, so I consider that a pretty good accomplishment. I don't have one of those like rags to riches stories though. I have really awesome kick butt work ethics, which
Yeah.
got me here. I failed at a lot of things, and I kept going, and I figured things out for myself. So, yeah, I mean, which is cool because it goes to show you that you don't need to be like, your back doesn't need to be against the wall, and like it's either like a do or die situation. Like you can make it work, and I have done that. So
What kind of
now I'm just
products have
working
you
on that.
have you created?
Pardon?
What kind of products have you created?
Across the board, really. I've created products for affiliate marketing. My last product was for traffic strategies that I use in my business right now. Created products on. Well, here's what I do. What I really like to do is I'll like test things out, and I'll figure out what works and what doesn't, and I'll turn that into a case study, and then I'll launch that. Otherwise, like from my list, I survey my list and I find out what problems they have, and I figure out like unique solutions for those, or I get in contact with people that have unique solutions for those, and I collaborate with them and create products that way. So,
Okay, so
yeah,
I
and
mean, you've just kind of, it sounds like you've really done many different kinds of products. I'm sure you've had some that have done really well and some that have just not done well. I mean, I think a lot of people have that.
yeah, oh yeah, there's been failures in there. There's been the whole product launch selling like 20 copies of something,
That's
which
gotta hurt. That's really gonna
ah,
hurt.
it's painful. It's
Yeah.
painful. You get all hyped up, and I mean the launch. It's which you'll experience soon enough.
I hope
mean,
it's
like
not the failure that I'm gonna be experiencing
no,
soon
no, no,
enough.
no, 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 not that. Like the,
No,
the
yeah.
adrenaline for like the launch and everything, and like it's just like it's like a rush. I guess that's like why people do it, but all in the money, obviously.
You know
But
what? Sorry to interrupt you. You know what I've seen is, and it's something that I don't want to have happen is I see people, so many people get really excited. They're like, okay, I'm putting out my product and I'm launching it, and then they launch it out and they think it's gonna be great, and then it just doesn't happen. Like the sales don't come, the traffic doesn't come.
hmm
Like I would ask you why that
we're gonna be
happens.
talking about that in the call, I think, aren't we?
We
Like,
are, but yeah, let's get into it then.
yeah.
Let's get
Oh
into
yeah,
your
we'll cover that.
okay. Let's get into your kind of your process of how you do a launch. So I guess the first question is, what kind of a pre-launch should we be doing?
Yeah, there's well, for a pre-launch, there's really like two kinds of pre-launches nowadays. Okay, because like backing up a little bit,
Sure.
um, as of right now, if you go to a website like warriorjv.com or if you go to muncheye.com,
Yeah.
they are both websites with lists of all the internet marketing products launching recently or coming up, like in the immediate future. And one thing you'll see is that there's probably 5 to 10 launches happening every day on the Warrior Forum or on the Special Offer Forum. And so with that many products launching every single day, the pre-launch is really, really important. It's almost to the point where it's more important than the product now. And the pre-launch for you should theoretically start months before your product. The pre-launch phase is no longer just like, hey, I have a list, I'm going to send them like 3 cool videos and then launch my product and it's going to be gravy. The pre-launch now, with so many launches happening and so many new products being like pushed into the marketplace, the pre-launch is now connecting and networking with people that could promote your product. So the JVs, I mean, the success of your product launch is going to determine how many, it will be determined by how many JVs you have. and how many people promote for you. Like, yes, the Warrior Forum gets organic traffic. Without any kind of promotion, I mean, you'll probably top off at about 50 sales of a product, which is not that good of a, of a product launch, even with a really solid funnel in place. So the networking and connecting with friends and adding benefit to people and adding value to people, and their products and helping them out, that needs to happen like at least a month or more before your actual product, and that's kind of the pre-launch mentality that you need to have nowadays.
So you're the first person that said a month before. Like, I've seen people, I mean, in general, what I've heard so far is a month, at least 2 weeks before. I mean, everyone's saying you need to let people know beforehand, because there's some guys out there that the bigger, let's say the ones with the bigger lists, and they'll say, okay, I need to know a month in advance if I'm going to be able to produce to mail for you. I need to at least know a month in advance to even consider if I'm going to mail or not. And you say even like earlier. Like, I was thinking, let me just say this. I was thinking that even now, like, I won't be able to finish all these interviews probably for another week or two. So I figured I was going to get this product all kind of finished, and at that point, then I could say, okay, I'm going to be releasing in a month from when it's all finished, and I can show people, I can send out review copies to people showing what I actually have. But I've also, like, now that I have, personally for me, I have my audience and I have a list already. So I was thinking that I can go and start kind of announcing it slightly, mentioning it on my show a little bit before, telling people that it's going to be happening, kind of creating a buzz, so that once slowly, once I actually do decide to release it, it's like, oh yeah, well, I've been waiting for that to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I think before I mentioned there's two parts. And so the first part was the networking, the JVs, because that's how many JVs and affiliates you have on board will determine, basically the quantity of sales that you hit. I mean, if you look at most of the Warrior special offers that hit like WSO of the day, or, the JV Zoo product of the days, the featured products like that, they're all based off of launches that are really successful with a lot of partners. It's just how it works nowadays. So there's that. I mean, and that networking needs to be in place, and you need to be actively working on that, really like on a daily basis, but that needs to happen before. But then there's the other part where you need to start warming up your list and start, like, first of all, just start dropping hints like, hey, I'm working on this awesome product. I'll give you more details when I have more. And that can start anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks out from your launch. Or more. I mean, it depends on what kind of relationship you have with your list, how often you communicate with them. Like, I know you personally do interviews a lot, so you can be like, yeah, I just did an awesome, I just recorded an awesome interview for the product I got coming out. You guys are, going to really love it, but we're not, it's like a month out still, so I'll send you details when I get more. So something like that. But then, crunch time kind of comes in at like the 3 week or less mark. So, starting at like 3 weeks, you really want to like have kind of like a set structure going on. So like in 3 weeks, you should have obviously like an idea of when your launch is going to be. I would announce the launch 2 weeks away from launch. I'm going to get really specific on you here.
Go for it.
So I would announce the launch about like 2 weeks away from it, and then kind of like give content or even like sample interviews, or even like you could take really solid information or like the golden nuggets from the interviews and drip those out to people like leading up to the interview, so you can have your internal pre-launch to your list. So like, damn, this is really good. Like, if this is good, I wonder, like, I want the whole product. And plus, they're going to know you, so it's going to be great. But yeah, so start dropping hints to your list, without like the nuggets or anything, between like the 2 to 4 week mark. So 2 to 4 weeks out from your launch, like you can say things like, yeah, so I'm working on this, or I just recorded another interview for this, and get them aware that you are coming out with a product. And then in the last 2 weeks before the launch, let them know exactly what it is, and give them awesome content that they can consume and or get a result from, leading up to the launch. And that's really.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about here. Like, you're pretty much talking about informing my my audience about that, right? Like
Correct.
that would be.
Yeah.
What about? Would you also put that as part of the resources for the JVs for the people that are going to be involved in doing that?
Yeah, to an extent. You're the with as far as like the JV aspect to it, going, rewinding to what I said before, how there's launches happening all the time. It's usually rare that you're gonna get an affiliate that will promote for longer than like a week period. Usually, like if they go like if they mail like really hard for you, it's going to be like 3 or 4 emails over like a week period. Typically, it's going to be a few days before the launch, and up to 1 or 2 days after the launch. So like a week period, like surrounding your launch. And that's just because they have other networks, they have other launches that they want to promote. They probably have their own launches that they're going to be promoting, so they won't be able to dedicate more than that amount of time to your launch. So because of that, I usually have with my launches, when I have like a big contest or whenever I have like like any kind of like a big affiliate launch, I usually have swipe emails. Actually, and there's cool things that I've started doing with this. I've modeled it off of other launches that I've really liked. I'll have 1 or 2 swipe emails for people like in the pre-launch phase, and I'll tell them like when to mail those out. Then I'll have a launch swipe copy, and I'll have a post-launch copy saying like, "Hey, did you see this at launch? You better check it out. Price is going up, etc."
So 3 swipes.
Really yeah, 3 plus.
3 plus.
Yeah, so I will have usually bare minimum a pre-launch and a launch swipe. Occasionally, I will have a couple pre-launch swipes, depending on how far out I want to have them mail, like a week out from launch or less, typically, and then a post-launch swipe as well.
Okay, because I mean I understand that makes complete sense to me, because I've promoted a lot of stuff and I've seen a lot of different swipes, and very, very rarely will even for people I really like. Even very rarely will I do like, I'll see that they have swipes saying like, do this email, we're gonna have a pre-launch on for the week, and then it's gonna launch here. Like maybe, and probably the conversion would go up if I did that, but I don't do that. And maybe you do that. Do you usually do mailings like beforehand for people when you're doing an affiliate promotion?
Very rarely.
Yeah.
There's a couple launches that I will pick out, and I never use their swipe anyway. That's the thing. And I found that like, this is really weird, but like the bigger the affiliate is, the more likely they're inclined to use your swipe copy. It's like the smaller affiliates won't though, which I like. I would never really use someone else's swipe because I communicate differently with my list than their swipe would dictate. So I do my own stuff anyway, but yeah, I will pick out a couple launches that I know like I really want to promote, whether because I like the product owner, I really believe in the product, or I just want to like get like on their goods, like on their radar, basically. So like those launches, I'll send maybe like a pre-launch swipe.
What we were talking about before is something that I really like to get into, is that I've been talking about the sales page with a few people already, and for me, there's people that say, go ahead and spend a little bit of money on it because it's going to be one of the most important parts, because other than like the JV page and the sales page, like if you're not getting good conversions, if your EPCs aren't high enough, then no one's going to promote for you, no one's going to buy. What do you do what's your process with your sales page?
Well, this is something I've kind of like been split testing it myself. I usually write my own copy. If it depends on what kind of copywriter you are. If you're not a very strong copywriter, you can get it done for under $300 on the Warrior Forum. Or I mean, you can invest whatever you want. I mean, there's a couple good guys that I know of. One is his name is Michael Millman.
Millman?
Millman, Millman.
Okay.
Phenomenal copywriter, a little higher end. I think he's around like maybe 500 to 750 or so. I mean, optional once again. Like I write most of my own copy though. There's another guy on the Warrior Forum. His name is Matt Ausin. It's Ausin, and I can give you a link to his thread. He has a thread on the Warrior Forum, and he's usually open for clients, and he's 300. I mean, very, very strong copywriters. I've had horrible experiences with copywriters in the past, other than those two, though. So I would probably stick to those unless you have like another contact that you've gotten in touch with.
Well, I've gotten some people so far. I've gotten some people that are like $500. There's this one woman that does copywriting for some of the bigger launches, and she's charging like $1,500 for her copy, or I think a minimum of $1,000 for copy. And I'm just worried about spending. Like, I know you can go out there and you can spend and spend and spend, and you can get a sales page and videos and graphics that look like amazing. But I also need to be thinking about, okay, like if I spend too much, then I'm going to be reducing my sales amount. Like I don't want a crappy product, but I also don't want to overspend.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. It's like you can spend whatever you want on the copy. I mean, if you want, you can get the sales page like written and designed for $300 to $500. I mean, you don't need to spend more than that, to be honest. I have launched products that have like the whole like super graphical formatted sales letter, like you see, a lot of like the bigger name people do. I've had really crappy sales copy, like, without all the graphics and everything, literally just formatted within the Warrior Forum thread itself. It all really depends on the JVs you have. I mean, JVs don't just mail for, sales copy that's like super graphical or anything. So that's not really as much of a barrier of entry as it is a personal preference. I mean, can it look good? Yeah. But it really just depends on your offer. I mean, if your offer guarantees someone that they're going to make like $1,000 in 7 days or something, then, I mean, they're going to buy it whether it's graphicalized or not. So the offer in place is more important than the copy, or I should say the appearance of the sales letter. As for the copy, if you're not a good copywriter, I would spend, a few $100 and get that written for you.
Like, I don't think I'm horrible, but I also think that there are people out there that are going to be much better than I am.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's a couple directions you can go. You can write the copy yourself, and then you can paste. Typically copywriters, they'll either write a sales letter for you, or they'll redo a sales letter for a cheaper price. So you can like write the copy yourself, and then just have them like redo it for you, so they're not starting from scratch. Or you can just outsource it entirely. I probably wouldn't pay more than like $300 to $500, because it, like, at that point, you got to make a return, and so like if you don't know that if you don't know that you have a solid JV backing, then you might not. If you spend $1,000 on copy, you might not make enough back to recoup just that investment on the copy, and you're in the hole off the bat. So if you know that you're going to have a lot of people to promote for you, and you're really active in the pre-launch, and you provide value to people and spread the word, and you actually get affiliates and JVs on board, then I would invest in more, because you know that people are going to be mailing for you.
And so are you doing your own copy now, or what are you doing personally?
I personally now I do my own copy, but then I have somebody graphicalize it. So. And I can give you a link for them as well. The dude is awesome. He does it for like, I think around like $50 to $70. And like, he takes what you do. I mean, he does awesome. Like, if you go to traffichotshot.com, that's my latest WSO, and that has like the graphical sales letter. I wrote the copy, and he did the graphics for it. It looks pro. I mean, it
What's
looks
his
awesome.
name?
I have to get it for you off of the Skype call. I'm like really hesitant to like leave the Skype call now. I don't want to screw it up again.
Don't go anywhere. We've already had enough problems with it. It's traffic. You said it's Traffic Hotshot.
Traffichotshot.com.
Okay, and I see here that you've. Okay, it's in the Warrior Forum. I was gonna say. Okay, so we've got I'm looking at the graphical page right now. You've got. The top here is a graphic. Oh, it looks good. It's not too much, actually, which is sometimes the pages have too many like crazy graphics in it, but it's looking like it's not overkill.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like sometimes like with the offers like that, like if it is overkill, it's like you have to dig around to figure out what the product is. So, I mean, I would would err in favor of less graphics and less intensive focus on the sales copy, the appearance, in favor of the offer itself. So as long as you can convey the offer and people that land on your page know what they're getting, like as quickly as possible, that's really what counts. So
did this convert well for you?
yeah, this I mean for affiliate traction, it was converting at 9%, between 7 and 9%. Off of my own list, it converted at 11.
Nice. That's good. And what do you see as a good conversion rate? Is it about conversion rate or is it about EPCs? Like,
it's both. A conversion rate, I typically for my list, I think that between really like 10 to 20% is really good for me. It depends on what kind of pre-launch emphasis I have on it, or what I do leading up to the launch, of course. What I've actually found, I got this strategy from Michael Young. So for launches, right? Like you send a couple emails out before your launch, tell them like the week before coming out with a product, and then like a couple days before launch, hey, it's coming out Friday, or it's coming out whatever, and then you give your list a special bonus. And what he's done and what I've started modeling off of him is that, let's say your launch is set for 11 a.m. Eastern time. What he does is he releases the WSO a half an hour before that for half price, but he only tells his list about it. So everybody else promotes it at 11. He releases it like a half an hour to an hour earlier, and only his list knows about it though. So and he does it for half off. So for like the first like 30 minutes or the first half an hour, or for the first half hour or the first hour, your list specifically knows that it's coming out like an hour earlier, and they can get it for half off. And what that does is it shoots the initial conversion rate like through the freaking roof. And then so that's how you can get on the radar of.
Are you announcing that it's half off throughout the process, or
just your list? Just to your list, and even like on the graphic, like on your sales letter, say buy now for $17, and then the button says like $9.95 or something, or whatever half off will be. So like literally only your list knows about it, and then at 11 a.m. or whenever your actual launch starts, then raise it to the full price.
So you're gonna have the offer at a certain price, and then you're gonna change. Is it easy to make that change? Like I've never done that. Is it easy to?
Yeah. You like whatever platform you're using, you just like if you're using Warrior Plus, you just sign into your account and like change the price and save, and then it auto updates that on the thread with the buy button. So it's very easy to do. But yeah, so basically it's an incentive for your list, and so for your list, usually it's hardest to get traction in the very beginning. But like obviously you're building a list yourself. So if you have a list to market to, this is the most. This is one of the coolest things that you can do and that I've seen. So either give a bonus to people that buy early, or do the price drop, a very limited time price drop for your list specifically. Only tell your list. Don't even tell your JV partners about it, or you could, the bigger ones if you want to. But just drop your price. Drop the WSO to half off for the first.
I like that though. That's a really good strategy, and it's definitely something where you can kind of, I think I would probably announce it maybe like the day before or something, that you're going to do the special discount, like to kind of be like, hey guys, and just so you know, like, and it's also good to do for your list as well, because it's going to show them like they're your people. It's going to build that trust, and it's going to actually be a benefit to them. So I like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, it's cool. Like any way that you can reward your list. I mean, like the difference is like $10 that you're talking about, but it's that act that, it's exclusive, and it's the exclusivity that, that really makes it awesome and convert a lot better.
Cool. Okay. So what else can we move on to here? We've got the sales page, we've got the graphics. You're going to give me the link to that guy that you talked about. That looks, how much was that? $60? $40?
That was 40. No,
40.
Lies. That was 50.
Okay. So we've got that.
So, but totally cool though. I mean, I think it looks awesome.
What about I don't know. From that point on, do you put your content in like a membership site, or are you using like, what's your content delivery method?
I have I use Optimized Press for the site. I think it does everything I need it to, and then I use Wishlist as a membership site software. purely do that for the security aspect. There's like I think it's WP Member Champ by Jason Fladlin. It's a secure. It just locks down WordPress.
Okay.
I have some type of security because otherwise, like some way that they have to register to get access to the content. Because otherwise, I mean, no matter what, like a day after you launch your product, it's going to be on like every Black Hat forum out there, and it's typically going to be posted by the person that like refunds the purchase that they made, which is just works out like that. But yeah, so I have some way to lock down the content. So I mean, Wishlist is phenomenal. There's so much you can do with it. Optimized Press does everything you need. So I think between those two, that's really the only investment that you need to make.
One thing I mentioned to you before we even started doing the interview was kind of the post process, or when someone's gone through. And if I've skipped anything, you can touch on it in a minute. But if once they've done everything, they've launched their product, they've got it up in the Warrior Forum or whatever, and then it's like, and they've reached out to all the JVs and they've reminded the JVs that the product's live and everything. And what do you do at that point after it's live? Like, is there anything that you think is important? Anything that you do?
Well, after it's live, so you have to sell your customers, first of all. You sell your customers on the product. So, I mean, that's through the pre-launch and then, for the launch and everything. And then after it launches, hit your list hard, because it's like, if you're going to be communicating with your list, like you just launched a product, like I would promote it like every day after that for like a week to the people that don't, either that haven't bought it or that haven't opened the emails, or email the people that haven't opened the previous emails or clicked on the links. Just be diligent in the follow-up for your launches. Apart from that, it really depends on how extensive of a JV, kind of like if you have like a JV contest, or if you have like a leaderboard, or depending on how big your launch is and how many affiliates or JVs are involved in it, sell your affiliates on the product too. Like not don't be like, hey, buy this product, because they're probably already gonna have access to it, but like sell them on promoting it. Be like, hey, tell them what the EPCs are, what other affiliates are converting at. General, like what kind of feedback you're getting, or like send them a review that, a customer posted in the Warrior Forum about it, just to show them that it's a quality product, it's being very well received, and that their list is probably going to love it if they promote it too. And so on that note, I guess one thing that we can talk about that we haven't touched on before is like your JV page, which is really important for your launch. So you have to pimp out your sales letter. So we've talked about that, but also the JVs, you have to sell them on promoting it initially. So we kind of talked about like how to sell them on promoting it after it launched. But what about before it launches? So it's one thing to approach JVs or affiliates and say, hey, I got this cool product coming out, like I think your list is going to love it. Or if you have existing contacts that you can go to. But then, so what do you do with those contacts? Like, where do you run them to? And that's what a JV page is for. And so with the JV page, it's set up kind of like a WordPress site, basically. I think if you go to, like, as example, go to traffichotshot.com/JV. I'm pretty sure that's the site that mine is on. And if anybody that watches this wants to go there, that's how I structured my the JV page. That's the right address, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Okay,
cool. Yeah. So the JV page is your portal that you send all your JV traffic to. So in the pre-launch for your, for joint ventures and everything, you want to send or be able to send JVs to a page where they can see what the product is, what the payout is, like what your launch is going to look like, if there's a contest, what the prizes are. And then that's where you centralize all the swipe material. So you can see there, now that JV page that I have was modeled off of the Warrior Precious.
Okay,
who does, he just like every launch he does is like, has a huge affiliate following, solid JV backing, and usually does 6 figures. His sales funnels, he has like upsells and downsells and crazy stuff, but that JV page I made was modeled off of his. So, there's a tab for, the home page is what the offer is, why people are going to like it, and just the general information that they can get, and then they can sign up for updates too on the JV list. But then there's tabs across the top of the page for like swipe copy, just for different things, for like a review copy, if they want to ask me for a review copy.
Yeah, I see here that you don't just give out the review copy. I think you're asking them to contact you for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people say either way, like you should just give it out to JVs, or you should have them ask for it. I'm leaning towards having them ask for it, because then I know that they're at least looking at it, and maybe if you want to look at the JV as a lead, then I know that the lead is a little hotter than other leads.
Yeah, well, it's a step in the process. It's a hoop that they have to jump through. Giving them like, absolutely give it to them, like no matter who it is, no matter what. But yeah, I like establishing that point of contact, because then I can follow up with them and be like, hey, did you check it out? What did you think? Even if you're not going to promote it, like, would you mind if would you mind giving me a review of it that I could put on the sales page?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Okay, I'm afraid of pissing off my JVs. I'm afraid of, like, let's say with you, Tom. Like, I'm launching this product, and I've sent you a message. Let's say you're not involved in this interview. Let's say you're another person that I think might be interested, and I've contacted you. I've sent you a Skype message a month before. I might have contacted you on the Warrior Forum. Like, maybe then 2 weeks later I've contacted you. Then maybe I've kind of sent you an update to how things are going. Like, I want to keep you informed about it, but I also know that there's all kinds of people reaching out to you and asking you if you want to promote stuff all the time. Like today, while I was doing this interview with you, I had someone who's a pretty big product launcher. He sent me a message on the Warrior Forum, and he said, hey, I've got this product coming out, blah, blah, blah. And I felt a little bit off about it, because it didn't seem very personal, but I also know at the same time, like, he probably has so many people he's trying to contact right now that he can't really be personal for it. Like, how do you feel about this whole getting JVs and not being a dick about it?
It really comes down to the relationship that you have with the person. I mean, regardless, because there's so many launches, and yes, there are, everybody's contacting everybody. So, like, you have to get your name in there too. So, regardless of, like, wanting to piss them off or trying to be cool about it, back to the matter is you have to follow up with them. So, you still have to talk to them. I would, don't, like, go overboard. Don't, like, every day be like, hey, did you get my message? Did you get my message? Hey, I just sent you one yesterday. Did you get my message about the message I sent you yesterday? So, I mean, like, don't go crazy about it. But, yeah, like, I usually try to, establish a point of contact a few times. I have a lot of people on Skype. And then I use Facebook as well. I mean, like, Skype, I'll drop them a message being like, hey, I got this coming out. Like, it'll be a lot more personal. And then, on Facebook, I'll basically send them the same thing. But I use, Facebook messages and Skype primarily as my contact for affiliates. To me, like, everything out, like, I know that they're on those two. And it's a lot more direct and a lot more personal. The Warrior Forum, I like never check my messages on there. Very, very rarely do. Unless I scan for, like, customers and everything. But I mean, yeah, like, don't like, give them some space. Like, don't go overboard with it. But yeah, you definitely need to follow up with them.
Do you try to get those people on your JV list? Do you try to get them, like, do you try to get everyone kind of onto one list, or do you kind of, is the JV list just something that you would use from, like, people that you kind of don't already have that connection with?
Yeah, well, it's for both people, because, if you're running a JV contest, for example, and they want to stay, up to date with the leaderboard and, like, who's on, the top 5 or whatever, they will sign up to that list. But I usually try to push people onto that list, whether they're an existing affiliate / JV or not, just so I can keep the communication directly focused on that specific product. Okay. Because so each product is going to have its own JV list. So, I mean, you can double opt them into, your main JV list and a JV list on, like, Traffic Hotshot, for example. But you want to have a direct line of communication for a specific product at a specific time. So, every product you launch, you want to have a unique JV list for that, and try to push the JVs onto that, so you can update them about swipe copy that's working. You can update, and then you can continue selling them on why they should promote for you.
Yeah.
So
I feel like you would know from. I'm sure that people contact you and ask you to promote stuff, and there's got to be a right way and a wrong way
Yeah.
of doing it.
Yeah, and you know what? And really just don't be a douche about it. There's like I could drop a name, I'm not going to it. There's one guy, and like he's a huge marketer. I mean, like does like 6-figure launches and everything, but he's the biggest douche outside of the forum. And like he always sends like, you know, he does like the copy paste like messages on Skype all the time, where he's like, "Hey bro, got this big launch coming up," and everything. And it's like, I know damn well you pasted that and you're sending that to everybody else because I just saw the exact same copy and pasted message in the WSO Facebook group, you know? So I don't know. So like that would be the wrong way to do it. And the right way to do it would just be personalized and, maybe even start a dialogue with them and then be like, hey, cool. So by the way, I got this, I got the product coming up, I was seeing if, blank, if you could give me a review of it or if you want to check it out beforehand or whatever. So just be personalized with it and take the time to make your communication personalized.
Cool.
And follow.
Anything else that you think is important that we haven't covered about launching?
We've covered pre-launch. You know what? We haven't really touched on this, oddly enough, but I think that we can't overlook the importance of the product itself and what your offer is. Mm-hmm. And even like we could talk about sales funnels too. But so the key to a successful launch is A, JV traction, and B, your offer. So make sure that you have an awesome, like if you're going to go spending all this time and all this money setting up a launch, getting graphics done and a sales letter created for you and, all this time networking and everything, your product needs to be, the quality of your product needs to reflect the effort that you put into it. So making sure that you have an awesome product, and then the sales funnel, I would have typically like joint ventures, they care about the money that they'll make promoting for you.
Of course.
Obviously, it's a big factor for JVs. So having a sales funnel sequence in place, like whether it's an upsell and a downsell or just an upsell. But then your pricing strategy on that. I mean, if affiliates will mail for money, they'll mail for EPCs. I think that if you have an offer that is under $10, so if it's like $9.95 or below, I would give 100% commission on it. If it's even up to $17, I would give like usually 75% or 100%, even at a $17 price point.
I've seen a lot of people doing the 60% now for the $17 price point.
I would give as much as you can, to be honest. And this is what I found out most of all from doing so many WSOs and launches and everything. WSOs are not the cash cow, and I think this is a big misperception that a lot of people have. WSOs are not the business, so you should treat WSOs as a lead acquisition phase. They're specifically to build a list for you. JV's promoting it for you. That's awesome. They're going to add more leads, onto your list. But the WSO itself, like, yes, you can make a lot of money doing it, but don't look at it as the cash producing factor of your business. If anything, that's why I would advocate giving away as much commission as you can. Like, why would you give away 60% when you can give away 75 or 100? And have more affiliates promote for you. 100% to an affiliate is a hell of a lot more attractive than 60%. And if you're talking about a product that's under $50, you're looking at a difference of like $3. So would you give away an extra $3 for the opportunity or for the chance that a lot more affiliates will be attracted to your launch based on the 100% commission? That's kind of how you got to look at it.
Also, at the same time, I've had some people say that when they see 100% commissions, they feel like, okay, when they see that, they say, okay, this person is just trying to steal they're just trying to take my leads. Like, they're just trying to use this as a lead generator and to take people off from my list. Is that a feeling that you get at all?
No, I wouldn't worry about that because they do that anytime they promote anything else. With yours, they're just going to make more money.
Yeah.
Anytime they promote anything and their subscribers buy something else, they're siphoning customers off of their list. But like if it's someone that they have rapport with, like with you, with all the interviews that you've done, you have rapport with a lot of people. So a lot of people will promote based on that. Other affiliates are looking for EPCs and earnings per click, or they're looking for how much money they can make from from promoting for you. So if you have affiliates making like $3-4 per click, I mean, you're going to get a lot of affiliates on board with that. So you really just got to think about it like that. Like, yes, you want to make money as creating WSOs and launching them, and you can. It's just the money is in the back end after which basically starts after the WSO launch.
Yeah.
So I mean, the money. So like once you build that list, I mean, you obviously know like how much you could do with the list, and how how profitable it can be for you. The WSO is a lead generator in that part. Like that whole launch that we're talking about is the very front end of the funnel to what could be a massive back end that produces 90% of your income. And that's the kind of internal structure that my partner and I are currently fleshing out right now. And I mean, just by implementing like higher end offers and really dialing in on exactly what our list wants and being able to provide that for them through internal launches, our literally like our monthly revenue is skyrocketed because of that. So,
and I think it's really hard, and I'm speaking personally, it's really hard to look ahead, because right now I'm struggling just to like put together the product itself. Like a lot of people, okay, they come up with an idea for a product, and then you say, okay, you've got to go and do a one-time offer too, and then you need to do an upsell and a downsell. Like that's like, it's like, okay, I need to do a whole nother product to do this. I think that becomes easier after a while, because you can use maybe products that you've created. Like maybe for my next product, I could use this product as an upsell if it fits right. You know what I mean? Like or you can partner with someone that has a good product to go along with it that will be a good upsell. Like there's ways I know that people do as well, but I think for a lot of people, it's looking down in the future that it's harder for them to really put that together.
Yeah, and you know what? I got this from Ryan Dice, but what I found is that the best upsell for anything is something that that helps you do the front end product faster or easier. So think in terms of speed and automation, and that's what I did on my last Traffic Hotshot launch. And the main product is about how I find websites to advertise on, basically. So I mean, it was a customer, I surveyed my list, and a lot of my customers had problems finding websites that they could advertise on in markets outside of internet marketing. That was the basis of the product. And so with that, I took 10 different methods of finding sites to advertise on. Bam, that became Traffic Hotshot. For the upsell then, so like I made that whole product, which was really cool. The upsell to that was I showed people how to outsource those 10 methods, and I actually gave them the videos that they could give to an outsourcer to do the work for them. So, I mean, it's relatively speaking, it was very easy to create. It took an extra couple days between creating the product and writing the copy once I buckled down and actually did it. But I mean, it allows them to implement the front end product easier and faster because they just pay someone to do it for them.
Let's talk about this. I think this could be interesting. I've kind of explained to you the current idea for the product that people listening to this have bought, and the current idea was that it's like the 10 interviews with excellent and expert product creators, and the current kind of thing that I'm thinking of doing is putting out kind of a blueprint of how you guys are launching products and the best strategies that you've suggested, alongside with maybe a kind of a documentary of me doing it maybe as an upsell. Now I'm thinking, like, from talking to you about it, and from talking to different people about it throughout this, I'm thinking like maybe the original idea for the product can kind of be switched around. Like, maybe it's you sell the interviews, and as the upsell it's the blueprint, or you sell the blueprint as the upsell it's the videos. Like, what do you think is going to be the most interesting one for the front end, and what kind of upsells should there be?
I think the front end sounds good. I mean, because you have the audio component to it, and then as long as you can break down, and we talked about this. I don't know, I forgot if it was on the call or before the call, but it's like I guarantee nobody that buys your product is going to listen to all 10 interviews. Yeah. Just because of time conflicts or whatever. So being able to take the audio interview or the video interview and break it into something like a PDF cheat sheet of what they talk about, and they can get that information in like 30 seconds instead of listening to an hour-long interview, that's going to be critical.
And that should be included. I think that should be included like with
Yeah.
the videos.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's like packaged in.
Yeah, but that is what is going to make it appeal to or have mass appeal for your product launch. So it's going to be product launch blueprint cheat sheets, basically. So that's cool on the front end. I think that one of the coolest upsells that you can offer is a case study, though. People love case studies because it shows implementation and it takes away the thought and the process, and it shows people like, yes, this can be done. Here's exactly how I did it. So I think that there's a lot of value in that, and because it transcends theory into practicality. So
which is what I was thinking of doing. Like the case study would be the active launch, and doing it as a membership site. Even after the launch, I can go back in and update. Like, okay, this is how many sales I did. Like, I think it would be really interesting for a lot of people to kind of really see how the launch went and how I did everything, how I contacted people, how my JV page was created, what worked, what didn't work. I thought that could be a really cool like case study.
Yeah, they're well, so now the only problem with that is you're not going to have that until after the launch, so it can't be an OTO for the launch.
It can be though, because no, it can be though because
separate.
the reason why it can be is because along the way it can have the content up until the launch, the actual launch date. That can already be in the OTO, and if it's like a wish list, if it's like a membership, then I can just update it as it comes, as it keeps going. You know what I mean? Like it can be sold along with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That'd be pretty cool, because then it's like they get more even after they buy it.
Even after they buy it, they get more. Now, do you think I should do? I don't know. I just want to make sure that, I mean, I want to, with the whole launch, there's so many people that you need to make happy. Like, you need to make your customers happy. You need to make your JVs happy. You need to make yourself happy.
True.
Like,
yeah.
And you have to do everything kind of right, which is, I think, one of my sales tactics for this is going to be something along the lines of like the perfect launch, because so many people try to find what the perfect launch is, and of course a perfect launch doesn't exist, but you can try to get as close as possible without making the huge mistakes that some people make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely pitfalls to avoid, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, everybody's going to have their own methodologies, like little tactics that you can implement. And I think that it's cool what you're doing too, because I mean, you're going to have like 10 different blueprints that someone can use to launch something. All 10 are successful, I feel. From the names that you've mentioned thus far, I mean, like all of us have had successful product launches. So I think that you're doing it in a really cool way. But being able to like combine those and like the different aspects of one into the other, and just combining the golden nuggets, I think it's I mean, it's definitely going to be a recipe for success for sure.
I hope so. Well, is there anything else, any advice that you have for me along with my launch? Anything that you think that when people listen to this, that I should have done for my launch that you think is crucial? Anything, I don't know, anything that comes to mind?
No, I mean, like as of right now, they're probably more so as as we get closer and everything, and I'd love to check out what you're doing. But no, I mean, like we've really covered, looking at just the launch in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've covered pre-launch, we've covered setting up for it, like getting everything created, the launch itself, post-launch, delivery. I think we've definitely covered the bases with it. So.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, is there anything that you're currently working on that you'd like to mention so that people can go check it out? Anything that you've got planned for the future?
Yeah. Well, I feel horrible. I don't even have a page up for this yet. I'm going to be reopening my coaching program pretty soon. It's called the 5-Figure Mentor, and this is going to be 5-Figure Mentor version 2.0. I guess I can just maybe if you go to 5-Figure Mentor, now that I'm going to have to go set this up after this call, damn you.
I'm making you go to work. Don't worry, this won't be out for at least another month now. So you got some time. You got a month.
All right, cool. Yeah, if you go to fivefigurementor.com, there will either be a squeeze page there to get notified about the coaching, or the coaching may be open then. Within a month, it might be closed. We'll have to see how fast I move.
Okay.
But yeah, so if you go there, that is actually it's a coaching program. That's I taken all my experience. I opened it last summer for I think maybe like 50 students or so. I mean, like within the first week, I had students making their first dollar online. A handful, over 10 people actually, which is
Nice.
awesome. I feel so. Yeah. Then this version 2.0 is going to be including everything else that I've learned in the last year. I've tweaked business models, I've expanded businesses, I've helped people grow, and all that's going to be included in this. So it's pretty cool. So it's Five Figure Mentor with the number 5 in front of it. So Five Figure Mentor.
And for people that are looking at doing products here, that's what you've just kind of mentioned there is a perfect example of something that you can promote later on that is going to increase your income as a product creator. A lot of people that are students of yours are people that have signed up for lower price products, and kind of through that learned about who you are, built trust with you, learned that you're actually making money, and are now willing to take that extra step and make a bigger investment and buy that extra training with you. So then that's where the real money comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the whole purpose of this product. The launch method that we're talking about is specifically so you can have that list that you can make a coaching program for later and charge $500 for it and have 50 to 100 people sign up, because you have a list of people that care about what you have to say and that have bought products from you before, and just trust you. So that's
and then it all snowballs from there. Like once you've got those people signed up at $500 a pop, then you've got more freedom to test out different things and test out different strategies and build more products, and you have more room for failure, and then hopefully more room for success.
Or even just buy a full tank of gas,
Or
whatever.
even just buy a full tank of gas. That's all you need. Cool, Tom.
Yeah.
Thanks again. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. It's been fun, as always. Take care.
We are